So this is my Hatchhyack. Damn, now push play. Alright. So this is my Hatchhyack Rejuvenate deck, or Mass Rejuvenate. So of course I'm going to keep all the blue cards, specifically the Pageman, because that's the Rejuvenate part of the deck. So this will help me be able to keep my life points higher than my opponent. Ideally, you want to play it on turn 6, because you're going to pay 6 to play the unison. Then you're going to then use his active main ability to draw a card and then place a card under it, and that will allow you to rejuvenate. So gaining a life. And the idea is to have 1 life more than your opponent, so that way when time runs out, you win. And that's why we have a timer right here. I'll take the hit. And I stop that hit. You know what? Don't want to take too much damage, obviously. So charging blue. You see the goal is to try to get to turn 3, get our Raditz online, so we can have something we can attack with, as well as draw engine. So that way we could stop using the leader's effect. But right now we're just using it so we can thin out through our deck. Keep our hand size big, considering the fact that we're charging cards every turn. Drop the Oceanus. So he's milling cards. So he's down to 24 cards. If I'm right, both me and my opponent are playing 40 card decks, if I'm right. I mean 60 card decks, I think. Probably not. So 16. 6. Say about, yeah, I think he's playing 50 card deck. Anyway, my deck thins out pretty fast. But it will look like it. Give up a 30 burst. I'll get the reds out there. Sweet. He has a blocker. He doesn't block. So for 19, takes the hit. I draw. Use the leader effect, so I'm drawing some more. That's the idea. And 8 cards in my hand, I have 7. So I have the ability to potentially stop 2 attacks. My opponent has roughly 3 attacks. So block the leader swing. That's mainly what the Raditz is for, to block the leader swing and some swing. Mostly all from battle card swings. Stuff. or negate, much better for swing. So I get myself up to 25. I need to take damage. Obviously, I will require less cards. My leader actually it's a 15k. But since I don't make my leader 10k, so it does cost me more cards. Cost me 15k combo power. It's roughly 3 cards per each 15k swing. I mean 20k swing. And he can easily do 20k swing, so yeah. Good thing I'm playing Hatchhyack, obviously, because the fact that he's swarming the field. And the funny thing is, I didn't see a scenario like this. This is where I would need my what's his name? Well, I mean, his board is not really much of a threat. It's just the fact that it's there. Is that on cosmetic unison? That would be good to clear the opponent's board, but it will put cards back in his deck, which would not be a good thing. So sweet. So I'm swinging 19k. He combos out, which sucks because that would make a difference right there. Sharon for your majesty. So now I got potentially the ability to draw 3 cards a turn. So I draw for that. Untap 2 energy. His leader ability to draw. So Raz drew a card, Shenron drew a card, and the leader's drawing a card. So that's 3 cards I'm drawing this turn. Which, as you can see, is keeping my hand size thicker than my opponent. And now I have the ability to potentially block 2 attacks with my Unison, and I have Oceanus. Now the goal was to use Oceanus somehow. Not somehow, but I thought he was going to play a card, but instead what he did was he used his Unison, which I really had to look at it again. I'm not to pause because we don't need to read what it did. Because I'm like, okay, your leader's not doing, it's not tapping my energy, so what's doing it? I didn't notice he sent a card. I thought it was a field card he sent, but it's like, no, he sent, what happened? I thought I read the card. It's like I was trying to read the leader. First one I highlighted the Unison. Yep, there it is. And then the Unison, alright. So it's -4, so he did have the 4 markers. And it was 3 yellow energy. Okay, so it wasn't 4 yellow energy, it was 3 yellow energy plus 2. Okay, so you did that right. So -4 and 5 energy to tap 2 of my cards. And he taps my energy. Gotcha. Let's continue. So, of course, he goes into attacking, and I wasn't able to Oceanus. Swing at my Shenron for your majesty after using his effect. So he's trying to get rid of my engine. And he succeeds in getting rid of it. And then he attacks my Raditz, succeeds in getting rid of that. But at least I'm not taking any damage from that, and he ends his turn, so it's like, all I need to do is deal my opponent 3 damage, and I would have the life points advantage. Or at least if I can gain gaming. That's the thing, I don't even have to deal my opponent damage as long as I deal at least 1 damage to my opponent, right? And make sure you don't deal me any damage. As long as he has 1 life left for me. And I can always rejuvenate to gain a life, so as long as I make it hard for them to deal me damage. So there's that. So now I want to start clearing his board because he might have some effects on the field that might be problematic. So first thing I do is attack. He uses his blocker to block my first attack. So that's one card I got rid of at least. I know he has 2 blockers left, so I use my Unison's effect to get rid of that one, so bottom deck them. So that way I can't use them to block any extra attacks if I decide to attack, which I don't plan to, but at least I got rid of 3 blockers. Use effect. I keep my hand size thick. If I can at least put out another engine, get my ball, so I can have something I can combo with. Because I don't want to keep giving up battle cards to try to defend myself. So I got, but then, well, he taps down my Oceanus. He swings, so I'll take the chance of trying to out combo it. I have 15k come upon my hand, which is enough to out combo that attack. So I just take it because I'm not gonna waste. Okay, I'll block that. He'll power it up, KO my Unison, and there we go. I'll take 1 damage. Because of course eventually all I have to do is rejuvenate. So I charge that, so now I have 4 blue energy and 2 black. So I have 6 energy. Right here I could rejuvenate, get myself back to 5. But then of course I'd be tapped out. So I was thinking of being slick. I was like, I want to play the Unison. I was like, oh, Shenron. Let me go with Shenron. Let me reestablish that engine. So get Shenron out there. Right, got 4. So this essentially will give me 8 energy essentially because 4 for him. Draw, tap 2. So now I still have 4 blue energy. So now I can use the 4 blue energy to play any of my Unisons. I was thinking, should I play that one? I was like, oh, I could play Raditz. Raditz can block 2 attacks. But I play this instead so I can keep the 2 energy up for Oceanus. So I went this route. Like, alright, do that, shuffle the deck. So grab the 4-star ball. Just trying to, get as much value out of my board as possible, but also try to go in, swing. Did I really do that again? Shit, I keep forgetting. I'm so used to using that. It's like, that's a mistake. That's a misplay. That I can't do. That means I would have had to use one of my other cards for that combo power. My opponent didn't call me out on it. Should have. Because it's like, I can't use the 4-star ball with a Unison. So it's very important to remember that. I just have, this. Just sometimes I do use the 4-star ball. So I dropped the Oceanus and then I dropped her. So realistically, she was what I comboed for the Unison, and then the 4-star ball I dropped for the Oceanus. So think of it that way. That's the way it should have actually been. That should have been the actual order. I accidentally tapped the wrong Oceanus is like that's the one that's locked. Now I'm at 7 energy. So I got to turn 7. I do that to do its thing. So now it's at 6 markers. So all I need is a card under it in order to rejuvenate. So I pay 6 to play that. I hardcast it for 6. I use Shenron to stand up my energy, so I have 3 blue energy. And I'm trying to go in for some triple strike and combo up. Because I'm not going to use that Vegeta, so I'll go to 30k and try to force a whole bunch of cards out of his hand, or potentially get the 3 damage in. Because if I could get the 3 damage to go through it, which would have been nice. then of course I could take advantage. As you can see, we have less than 2 minutes left, and it's like, man, if I can at least get them down to 4, it'll be a tie. But if I, get them down to 3, we'll win in time. That's the thing with time limits. Gotta try to do the best you can. I was like, yeah, I need something. I was like, you know what? Get rid of that and go into the rats because I see the time running out. It's like, let me try to get some attack to go through. But it's pointless because it's not like if the attack went through, I would have, won that game. Because the triple strike would have been nice if it went through. I don't think even if I comboed more, it would have went through. Oh, never mind. I didn't even have enough combo power for that to even be a thing. They close to score. The thing that sucks is that I wasn't able to at least rejuve. Because if I at least rejuve and dealt him at least 1 damage, that would have made a huge difference. But part of the thing that sucked was that I didn't get my aggro package. I didn't get my unison. That's the thing you want, is to get your unison, your sane scions, and go skillless aggro, and get your opponent down to 4 at least, and then work from there. Because as long as you can, sorry, as long as you can, rejuvenate, right? And I would have saved my rejuvenate, my unison. Like I said, you want to play it for 6, do its effect to put any card under it, and then rejuvenate. That's the way you want to play the unison. You don't want to do the whole marker, ticking up thing. I was just doing it because I could, but you really ideally want to play it for 6 energy, because you want to be able to rejuvenate in the turn in which you play it. You don't want to wait a couple of turns trying to get it up to rejuvenate capabilities. Well, that's it. But came close. Came very close. Close to taking my opponent out, as you can see. Up on there. That was 14 cards left on the backside. It was pretty close if I had more time. I should, obviously have all this stall power in my hand. So in a regular game, I would have been able to stall him. And of course, with the ability to rejuvenate, obviously I'll stay in the game long enough that he will lose just from backing out. So there's that. Especially if I got my blue unison out, that would have been nice because, 20k double strike every turn, so it would have increased my chances of getting his life down. I was tempted to use it. I was thinking of using it. But we saw what I did instead. My plays weren't bad or wrong or anything, just time related. Not that much time. I took a long time to make certain decisions, certain plays, but of course this is the first time I played this deck. So now I played it, right? Obviously. So now I got some experience with it. So now I know some more optimal plays I can do. And ironically, that was actually one of the best decks I could play against, because of how it just freely swarms. And then of course you saw that unison play was so good, tapping down my energy so I couldn't Oceanus. Like, that was good. And you see, at least I was still able to keep my life at 4, right? So I wasn't just getting, it wasn't a one-sided battle. I was just getting smacked up, but I wasn't really putting as much pressure as I would like. At least I got my point down to 6, but that's not that impressive. Normally, I can get my point down less than that, obviously, but I have to get the right card at the right time, which I didn't. I didn't get my aggro stuff. So, and that's the end of the video.